Pause for a moment and listen with your heart. Today, there are things everyone celebrates that in silence pull you away from God. Words that sound noble, gestures that look like light, decisions that earn applause, and yet they dim your peace. Isaiah 5:20 warned powerfully, "There are those who call evil good and good evil." If you've ever felt that discomfort, everything seems right, but inside something cracks, this message is for you. In seconds, I'm going to unmask the first of 9 lights that shine on the outside and darken on the inside. The 5th explains why so many end up confused without noticing, and the 7th breaks a chain that visits you every night. Stay until the end. There will be a clear decision for your life and your home. Let's begin. Before we go on, take a first step that is already a victory. Right now, without embellishment, I choose God's light over my home. That phrase aligns you. It's not a formality. It's a posture. You will read it, others will read it, and every word adds value and direction. We continue. There's a kind of tolerance that sounds affectionate, but censors the truth. It says, don't speak up, don't point things out, don't make anyone uncomfortable. It confuses love with approval. Loving isn't applauding what destroys. Loving is telling the truth with firmness and tenderness at the same time. Speak the truth in love is not hostility, it is mercy. Ephesians 4:15. John 8:32. When you keep quiet out of fear of pleasing everyone, error gains ground. You notice it when you start to relativize everything and avoid conversations that could save a life. Ask yourself quietly, what have I called tolerance when, in reality, it was fear of saying what's right? There's a shine of success everyone wants to touch. Prosperity is not bad. Bowing to whatever promises security while stealing your rest is. When your worth depends on your balance sheet, a packed calendar, or the approval of others, you're not living. You're negotiating your soul in installments. You cannot serve 2 masters. Matthew 6:24. The love of money brings pains. No one posts online. 1 Timothy 6:9-10. The sign is clear. You laugh in public and tremble in private. True blessing includes purpose and peace. If when you close the door, your peace depends on a number, that light was false. There's an idea of freedom that sells total independence. Do whatever you want. Nobody can tell you anything. It sounds powerful. But freedom without limits ends up being a cage without bars. You start by choosing and end up obeying impulses. All things are lawful for me, but not all things are helpful. I will not be mastered by anything. 1 Corinthians 6:12. Check who's actually in charge. Do you rule your habits, or do they rule you? A free decision is one you can leave whenever you want. If you can't, you weren't free. There's a kind of love that dodges commitment and justifies it with soft phrases. We don't need a piece of paper. What we have is real. What's real is sustained by word, covenant, and responsibility. When you take commitment out of the center, you leave an open exit for escape, and trust becomes fragile. God honors the covenant that protects, perseveres, and cares. Hebrews 13:4. Union without commitment looks modern. It ends wounded. An uncomfortable, honest question. What am I afraid of losing if I choose to love with roots? There's entertainment that numbs. It's not healthy leisure. It's unfiltered consumption that erodes. One more episode, one more scroll, one more joke that normalizes what used to grieve you. The psalmist set a boundary. I will set no worthless thing before my eyes. Psalm 101:3. This isn't about being harsh. It's about being conscious. Does this lift my gaze or lower it? What you celebrate stays. What you consume either builds you or breaks you down. There's a spirituality that sounds pretty and changes nothing. It talks, quotes, opines, promises. And at the end of the day, everything is the same. Hearing without doing is living on sand. Be doers of the word and not hearers only. James 1:22. The sign is simple. When truth arrives, does something concrete change? Asking for forgiveness, closing a door you left ajar, returning what isn't yours, cutting off a conversation that crosses lines. The faith that transforms is always seen in quiet decisions. There's bodily indulgence disguised as self-care. I deserve it. Just this to relax. Without this, I can't sleep. If something dictates your mood, your rest, your relationships, it stopped being relief. It became a master. Your body is a temple. Do not get drunk. 1 Corinthians 6:19-20, Ephesians 5:18. The short high and the long bill are never worth it. If you feel defeated, this is not a condemnation. It's the first step to break chains that felt like part of you. There's proud autonomy that despises counsel. I don't need anyone. That way I won't get hurt. An ember alone goes out. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Proverbs 11:14. It's not control, it's care. Opening yourself to an honest perspective saves you from decisions with a high cost. Tell someone trustworthy, show me what I can't see. Humility lights up corners, pride keeps in shadow, and there's information without practice that turns into an empty medal. You store quotes, share summaries, consume hours of content, and you think knowing equals maturing. It doesn't. The house stands on the rock when hearing is followed by doing. Matthew 7:24-27. One truth practiced is worth more than 100 truths collected. Real learning smells like change. Up to here you've listened, but now I want you to respond with a small, concrete decision. Write in the comments, today I close a false light and name it. Tolerance without truth, success as identity, freedom without limits, love without commitment, entertainment without filters, spirituality without obedience, indulgence that rules, autonomy that isolates, information without practice. Just one. Naming it is the first cut. Share it, and if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now and turn on the notification bell. Not to add a number, but so the next word finds you on time. Now I'm going to give you early signs and clear exits for each point, because it's not enough to spot the lie. You need to know the way out. If you're calling tolerance what keeps you from telling the truth, prepare a brief, respectful sentence for that conversation you've postponed. I'm sharing this because I value you. This isn't good for you. If you measure your worth by what you have, spend 1 minute each night thanking God for what can't be bought, health, purpose, family, and align it with one generous act a week. If your freedom lost its limits, set cutoff times and choose 2 people as witnesses to keep you accountable. If your love runs from commitment, write down your fears and confront the main one. You'll realize the price of living without roots is higher than the cost of planting. If entertainment is cooling you down, apply the Psalms filter. This builds. This lowers my guard. Organize your content. Remove what deforms you, and reserve a window for content that lifts you. If your spirituality changes nothing, take one truth and turn it into action today, not tomorrow. If your body is calling the shots, ask for help without shame, both professional and spiritual. Shame doesn't heal, it prolongs. If autonomy is isolating you, schedule an honest conversation this week. If you're stockpiling information, choose one measurable practice and do it for 7 straight days. Let me give you a picture. Your life is a house with windows. For years, you closed the curtains so no one would see the mess. The house doesn't need to be demolished. The right window needs to be opened. One right decision today lets fresh air in and old dust starts to move. True light doesn't humiliate, it puts things in order. It doesn't make you less, it makes you whole. Notice this, in every false light there's an opposite truth that rescues you. Where tolerance keeps silent, truth spoken in love heals. Where success promises identity, purpose sets you free. Where freedom shouts without limits, discipline preserves your joy. Where commitment scares you, covenant brings security. Where entertainment erodes, conscious selection sharpens your gaze. Where spirituality talks without acting, obedience ignites fruit. Where indulgence rules, self-control restores dignity. Where autonomy isolates, community holds you up. Where information shows off, practice builds character. By now you might be asking, what if I've fallen more than once? What if I applauded what hurts me? What if I look fine on the outside and inside I'm tired? The way out isn't a show, it's a return. Repentance isn't beating your chest, it's changing direction. Talking to the person you need to talk to, returning what isn't yours. Closing what opens cracks, opening what brings light, the word in the morning, an honest conversation in the afternoon, a concrete decision at night. You will know the truth and the truth will set you free. John 8:32. Freedom isn't a feeling, it's a walk. Before we close, I need your commitment so this message stays with you. And above all, so today's decision doesn't fade tomorrow. Right now, today I return to the light and tell in one line what step you'll take in the next 24 hours. That activates your responsibility, inspires others, and lets us walk with you. If this content helped you, subscribe and turn on the notification bell to keep receiving messages that aim at the center, not the surface. Share this video with two people, one who applauds without thinking and another who keeps silent out of fear. It may save one from a stumble and free the other from silence. Let me leave you with the conviction that undergirds everything you've heard. God doesn't expose you to shame you. He shows you to heal you. If today you name a false light and close it, a true window opens. Truth doesn't shout to disgrace. It whispers to guide. If you lacked strength, ask for it. If you lacked clarity, replay this part. If you needed a push, this is the moment. Do not call evil good. Don't let a false light steal your home out of courtesy. Choose the light that comes from God, the light that sets your course and lets you sleep in peace. If you want us to prepare a brief guide with passages to accompany each of these 9 decisions, ask for it in the comments. And remember to leave your mark today. I choose God's light over my home. Today I close a false light. Today I return to the light. What you write, writes you. What you decide defines you. And what you practice transforms you. Subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share this message. May God's peace guard your mind and your home.